It's a very warm welcome to all our viewers and welcome to a new episode of Cairo Local Time, our show bringing you all the latest news and events inside Egypt. I'm Angie Meher joining you for today's edition of the show, and as usual we take a short break and we'll be back to bring you a look at the news making the headlines. Do stay tuned. Continue with our show. We begin straight away with a look at some of the news making the headlines, and we begin with the latest developments from home, where the Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli opens the new Leone wiring factory and lays the foundation for the major expansion in Badr City. Prime Minister inaugurated the Egyptian new 14,000 square meter automotive factory in Badr City and laid the foundation for the 21 Fadan industrial complex. The move expands the company's presence to 15 factories, employing approximately 6,000 workers with a daily output of 45,000 wiring harnesses. Cabinet statement said the expansion reflects Egypt's growing role in global automotive wiring supply chains, noting that major manufacturers now use Egyptian plants to supply components for conventional and electric vehicles. Madbouli said the government is prioritizing automotive localization under the National Automotive Industry Development Program to increase local content, attract investment, as well as strengthen industrial capacity. During the tour, Madbouli viewed the locally made machinery used in assembling wiring harness installation, inspected production lines for dashboard panels, and reviewed sections producing harnesses for several automotive components, including fifth-generation charging systems for electric vehicle batteries. Also, the Deputy Prime Minister for Industrial Development and Minister of Industry and Transport, Kamil Wazir, said the new complex will expand production capacity, support new locally made components, grow exports to European and global markets, and create skilled jobs, adding the project as part of the ministry's plan to widen the industrial base and reduce imports, as well as enhance competitiveness. The government has also highlighted the wiring harness production as a strategic area for localization due to the high export demand and labor-intensive manufacturing. Egypt also hosts several multinational wiring system suppliers, benefiting from short shipping times to Europe, preferential trade arrangements, and a large industrial workforce. And now for more on the Prime Minister's visit today to the factory and his inauguration, we are delighted to be joined over the telephone by Mr. Rahman, the journalist. Mr. Amr, good afternoon to you, sir.
Well, good afternoon to you, hello to you, and to the dear viewers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amr, for your time this afternoon. Of course, today the Prime Minister inaugurated the Leone, Egypt's new 14,000 square meter automotive wiring factory in Badr City, as well as laid the foundation stone for a 21 Fadan industrial complex. This move, of course, expands the company's presence to 15 factories in Egypt, approximately hiring over 6,000 workers and creating, of course, many job opportunities in Egypt. How do you see today's events, Mr. Abdel Rahman?
Well, this is a step on the right road, a new step on the main pillar of our own economy, which is industry, along with agriculture, of course. The industrial file means that we need more factories, more workers, more expertise to be created on this land. Of course, such factory means job opportunities, means new aspects for expanding the horizon of our own economy. So I believe, and I'm sure, this is not the first to be opened in this month. I'm not talking about a year, about just this month. Too many factories are being opened with gates of hope and opportunities and windows for our own economy to breathe the progress, the wind of progress, as long as we are persistent to keep
Yes.
on the same road, opening new factories, developing the measures of our own industry according to the international measures.
Indeed. Now, Mr. Amr, of course, in a statement, the expansion very much reflects Egypt's growing role with regards to global automotive wiring supply chains, and major manufacturers now use Egypt as a place to supply components as well for both conventional and electric vehicles. How important do you see this step in your opinion, sir?
What you have kindly mentioned is the main target and the main policies of our own industrial minister and strategies, building up the base of our own industrial pillars, small factories, small projects, small industries. That means a lot, along with the mega projects in industrial projects, of course, along with opening the gate for investors, either in Egypt or from abroad, to communicate, to reach out for each other. Their joint effort to build up more factories, to raise the level of our own measures of our own industrial pillars, our own industrial projects, spreading our own factories, not just in the central of Cairo, but cities like Badr, cities like the new capital, cities like
Yes.
even in deep down in our own country governorates, even in Sinai. Each and every place in this state needs to absorb more factories and more industrial projects.
Indeed. Now, Mr. Amr, of course, during the tour, also the Deputy Prime Minister for Industrial Development and the Minister of Industry and Transport, Kamal Wazir, said that this project is very important as it will also expand production capacity and support new locally made components, which will in turn as well grow exports to other markets, specifically European markets and global markets, to create further job opportunities. How important do you see this, end product of the whole project?
Well, that important statement carries two faces and two ways to understand.
Yes.
First, we are expanding the horizons of nationalizing and localizing the international technologies in our own soil, on our own land, not just importing from abroad. The other thing, which is the same importance, is raising the levels of exporting. We manufacture here in Egypt. We have our own industrial, local industrial levels with the measures, international measures, and then we can export and compete with other economical powers. Let's talk about the level of the seven tigers in the Far East and other countries like Central Europe. Like, we can compete with that level by raising the same strategy, which is localizing the international technology along with side by side with exporting our products, and of course, which comes as a consequence, which is covering up the needs of the local markets.
Yes.
Covering up the needs of other industrial fields. That goes side by side.
Indeed, Mr. Amr. And also Egypt has, over the last few years, really accelerated efforts to localize automotive manufacturing through the National Automotive Industry Development Program, which also offers incentives really for component producers, eases things like industrial licensing, supports export-oriented production in line, of course, with the vision for 2030. How important do you see these steps as taken by the Egyptian government, sir?
Well, that means we are deepening up our relations with our friendly nations all over the world, with the East, with the West, with our friends in the continent of Africa, in the Middle East, in the Arabic East, and of course with Far East. We have witnessed the travels, the trips that Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has paid to Far East, to Japan, to China, to Southern Korea, other countries like Singapore. Those countries are the main models that we should follow and should take from what we have ended up, so we can start up our own march towards a strong pillar of economy. The most important two pillars, which are agricultural pillar and the industrial pillar. Absolutely. Without industrial pillar, according to the international cooperation and according to the international measures, we can never have a strong economy. With, of course, the third dimension, which is exporting and competing with the international market.
Absolutely. On that note, I'd like to thank you very, very much. Our guest for the afternoon, Mr. Abdel Rahman, the journalist. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and your insights on today's edition of Cairo Local Time. And still we move with more news, where Egypt has called on the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO, to take a more assertive role in supporting countries facing severe food supply breakdowns, highlighting the crisis in Gaza and Sudan as urgent priorities. We have the details in this report.